Welcome to For the Fans.
Hi.
Chantae's here, CJ's here, the 5 PMers. We are here to talk about the HoH episode for week 4, I believe.
Mhm.
Week
Yes,
four,
sir.
week 4, yes, week 4. We're here to talk about the everything that happened in the um, HoH competition. CJ, good to see
Good to see you as well, sir.
you. You're
Excited
kind of
for
far
this.
away.
Good to
Yeah,
see you at home.
Yeah,
yeah, back at
not on the
home.
road.
My excitement is for how this week has gone. As you can tell, I'm super pumped.
Yeah. Trying to tell you to contain yourself a little bit. Like, bring it down.
So much excitement.
Listen, you got the pressure cooked, so I get it. It was crazy. Before we get into that though, let's talk about this. When we get to 250 subscribers, we'll be giving away a golden power Vito. We're at 220 right now. So if you're seeing this, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Help us out. Um, Help us get them subscribers up, so that way we could give away this golden power of Vito to someone randomly signed by James Ryan. So let's get that done. Um, man, this James Ryan. Speaking of James Ryan, he competed in this competition. Um, BB6, the pressure cooker. Chantae, what did you think of the pressure cooker overall?
I just thought, man, I'd be the first one out. I would not be hold out like the way my back works and my knees. No, almost 14 hours this thing went. I'm like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that I love that much to stand holding a button for 14 hours. Kept having a hard time coming up with something.
I get that. I get for sure. Like that is, and then you just stand there. But I like this kind of like competition because it's an endurance comp. But a lot of times, Chantae, when they're doing endurance competition, you're like on a wall or something, and the thing's tilting and moving. This one is just sheer willpower.
Yep.
How long are you gonna stand there?
Yeah.
I can tell you when I would have went out, it would have been when they released the flies.
Okay.
I hate shit flying near my ears. I would have swatted at one and lost the button.
Yeah, no, yeah.
What about the snakes?
Nah, because they were in a cage.
They were in a cage. It's not even like they were like floating around. Like, oh look, I have snakes to look at. Oh, like that one.
You're fine.
I was so confused about, are they going to release them soon? Or is this like you never know when we're going to let them go? But they just sat there the whole time.
I mean, if you release them, I don't know how anyone would be able to like wrangle them back up.
That's what snake wranglers are for, Kevin.
Yeah.
Bring them in the house, you think?
Well, they're in one room. I'm saying, like, in the room, why didn't you let the snakes go and crawl around? Because 4 people would have let go of that button real quick. They just left them in the center for them to look at. I was like, I don't even understand the point of that.
So let's get into it because this was quite the episode, quite the situation, and then seeing it all happen versus how. So after leaving Thursday's episode, me and Kylie were watching the live feeds and watching this competition for several hours. I watched until I want to say 3:15 Big Brother time, 3:15 Pacific.
So 8 hours into the competition?
Yeah, roughly is when I watched it till, and then I was like, I got to go to bed. At that point, only 3 people were out, and Jared, Sari, and Izzy.
Yeah,
and I have to tell you,
got out.
When we get into the spoiler section, I got some comments about that because they had to show that a lot of it in the episode. Yeah, it was quite entertaining, but it was my feed was basically I watched that more so than I watched what was happening in the pressure cooker room because they had a TV. They were in the living room and the TV in the living room was on, so you could watch. Like if you're like listening to them commentating, the camera was on that angle, so you could hear them, see them, but you could see the TV. So I didn't feel like I needed to watch what was going on in the house. And then after watching this episode, or watching going on the pressure cooker, or after watching this episode, it doesn't feel like I need to watch too much like in the pressure cooker because there wasn't. I thought there would be like a lot more water.
Standing around holding a button, there's not much to see.
Yeah,
but there is
but you can't cut a deal when there's 8 people in the room.
True.
Correct. But what you can do is you could talk that shit, and you can try to like get somebody to like lose their concentration, if you will, on the button.
When Cameron made that deal with America, obviously Mimi went.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that before we let's get through the episode because I want to hear that question. Because so what we do is we start here in the pressure cooker. A lot of people, Jag didn't know what the pressure cooker was. The pressure cooker was last seen in BB6. It's a competition that went the longest in Big Brother history, over 13 hours, nearly 14 hours. I personally I had heard about this competition, but I never saw it because I didn't start watching Big Brother like heavy till BB8. Mm-hmm. So, and I haven't gone back and watched, but I've watched clips. I know Kaser is James. I know who Janelle is, so on and so forth from BB6. They were on BB7, which was the first All-Star season.
Yep.
So having Corey explaining how this competition goes, I was like, okay. Like I heard about this. I knew they were in like this chicken coop looking thing, but how are we gonna see this one? Especially because we know we had that hurricane last weekend. I wasn't sure how they were gonna set this one up.
Yeah.
And they just put them in that, they have that spare room nowadays. So they put them all in the spare room.
Which it looked like it was the upstairs spare room outside.
Yes, that's what it looked like to me too. What it looked like to me too. How did y'all feel about the fact that Felicia got to just chill in the living room?
Loved it.
Let's be honest, she would have been first out anyway, so might as well just.
Well, she couldn't compete because she was HoH.
But if she were competing, she would have been first out. So
you know how when they do the wall comp and there's the people that are like, I just want to stay on until Julie tells us goodbye and then I could drop. Mm-hmm. That would have been Felicia. She would have stayed for like 15 minutes and she would have been like, done. See ya.
Like, no,
I ain't winning this, so why should I stay?
Right.
You think so? I think that she would, because all you gotta do is hold a button.
Yeah, but standing still is taxing on your back. It's taxing on your knees.
Listen, the way my back works, no. I'd be like, oh my God. Like, not only, it's not even like keeping her, you have to like keep it pressed down and then you can't sit, you can squat. Miss Felicia ain't squatting nowhere. It's a lot. But one thing I want to, like, partway in the competition, someone had just gotten out. I can't remember who it was. I should have written it down. But I feel like I saw America lift her hand off while they got out, and then she put it back down. Like, it was clearly off. But they didn't say anything.
So America went with this technique where she had her thumb on the button and her hand covering her thumb. That was the technique. So she pushed her thumb down on the button like this. So if she moved her hand, the thumb was probably still there because the thumb was there the whole time. In the end, in fact, when she completes it in the morning, she talks about how her thumb is purple because she had it pressed down on the button for 14 hours.
Almost 14.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so, as long as the first competition.
But it was the strategy of this like this, and then her hand was like this. Mm-hmm. Right? Which is insane if you think about it. It's just a phenomenal thing. Before we get into the competition itself, because there wasn't really much how they broke down the competition, we see Suri break down all the alliances that she's in.
Yes.
We see we see her. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, look, she breaks down all the alliances. She's in an alliance with everybody in the house.
Yes.
But then at the end, she shows her true alliance, which is her, Jarrett, Izzy, and Miss Felicia. Like, that's her.
That's it.
That's her 4.
Day one. Like, she don't care about none of these other people except for those. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So she's really in 5 alliances.
Yeah, but those 3 are in almost every other alliance she's in.
Right. That's true.
Some iteration of them.
Yes.
Because you got to make sure they're all they're all mixed in. She has Jared only in 1, so that way he can get he could be on the outside for everything else.
Right.
Every other alliance though has her, Izzy, Felicia.
Right. Because no one's gonna believe that she's gonna be in an alliance without them. So
correct.
That's true.
And those two stick by her like glue.
Mm-hmm.
They always got her back, and she's always keeping them under control. Felicia fly off the handle, say whatever she want. She's definitely like an auntie.
Mm-hmm.
She's just sitting there talking shit, and then Izzy will get in your face, and she's like, "All right, Izzy,
yeah.
Izzy's always crying."
she's not always crying, but she is always like, man, ready to go, ready to go. And so we get all the alliances. We hear about the deadly 7 deadly sins alliance,
deadly sins, yes,
which has Felicia, Izzy, Jared, Matt, Jag, Blue. We hear about the Legend 25 alliance that has Felicia, Izzy, Matt, Red, Bowie, Mimi, Cameron, and Sari. Then we also hear about For Real, because they didn't have an alliance with America, so they had to make one. And so they got For Real, which has Sari, Felicia, Izzy, Mimi, Jared, Corey, and America.
But isn't that her For Real alliance?
That's the For Real. That's the alliance. That's the real alliance.
That's the real, not really real alliance.
Yeah, that's the most realest of the reals. For Real. The For Real alliance is that one. It's For Real. But then right outside of that is the 7 deadly sins, because Mimi is on the side of the 7 deadly ones because it's everyone except America and Mimi and Jag, Bowie, Red, and Cameron, because that's what they're targeting. Right. And that's the 7 deadly sins. And then you have the fake alliance, which is Legend 25, because they got to make sure that Red and Cameron stay off their radar.
Are handled, which I think is so funny, because Cameron totally went in, with the HOH, I'm thinking about my Legend 25 alliance, and it made me go, oh, they don't care about you.
That's why you got to have those other alliances. Yeah. Yes.
The problem is he's only got one alliance. Sari has choices.
Yeah.
And but alliances. Cameron doesn't only have, he has 2 alliances, because he has that one and he has the Beard Man's between him.
Final 2.
And then Red.
Yeah.
That's what
the final 2 isn't a real, because if it was a real alliance, they would have had Jag instead of been targeting him.
Because he also has a beard.
Exactly.
Matt would be down this week if they were really
he ain't got no beard. Why are you so clean? Why are you so clean shaven?
Face. Looking like a baby over there. Get out.
So we get to the first elimination. It's about an hour and 15 minutes in, hour and 17 minutes in. Jared is the first one out. I was a little surprised to see that Jared was the first one out.
Wasn't I was like, yep, typical.
Yeah.
Promises and underdeliver so many. Let's go back to the week of the scary verse where he just knew he had it right and went straight to the wrong door.
Wow, so you guys didn't? I thought Jared. I'm not gonna lie. When I first turned on the feed, I was surprised to see Jared out so quickly.
You know, I wasn't surprised. Jared's not very smart, and you just need to concentrate on something like this. It's a physical comp, but there's a lot of concentration involved, and that man cannot concentrate on anything other than blue.
True. When Jared gets out, he grabs a number card off the wall, because there's 10 number cards, and it unleashes something that happens in the house. He removes the card and it releases snakes in the floor. Now, you two said
a strong word.
It made them appear. There were snakes now in the ground.
Revealed is more appropriate.
Revealed snakes.
Yeah.
You guys thought this was kind of lackluster. This leads to Sari being eliminated.
Is that why?
Some snakes.
I mean,
all snakes contained in the center of the room.
She went full Indiana Jones on those snakes and had to get out.
Listen,
I don't surprised she got out so early. That was the one I was like, how does it, what?
Listen, as you guys know, I'm not a big fan of dogs, right? If there was a dog, if this thing was longer, if this was larger, but it was still even in a contained thing, If there was a dog in there running around, I would have been a little nervous.
If
I would have been a
there's
little nervous.
dog in a contained area in the middle of a room that could never get to you, you would have been nervous.
I would have been nervous a little initially. Yes.
You would have taken your finger off of a
I don't think she just took it off. I mean, she
she screwed up on a hand switch.
Yeah, she's watching this thing. Now, B Bean here in the chat, you know we love B Bean. B Bean here in the chat says 3 through the comp, and I think she did, but I don't think she was trying to throw that an hour in.
I was going to say, I like to throw the comp, but not that soon.
Not so like that quickly.
Mess up. But B Bean doesn't like dogs. Ah, man, I used to like them.
But yeah, that's from and I would have been nervous. Like I said, I would have known that there's glass there, but I'm like, I would have been anxious, right? And so her fumbling that swap, because you're right, CJ. It's like when she was changing her hands, she was trying to do something with her jacket or whatever. It would have been a little nerve wracking. Doesn't leave you as concentrated.
I mean, I don't know. Just it's in a cage. They're in a cage.
If I was like, oh dang, they brought the snakes out. When are they going to release the snakes? And then you kind of forgot the snakes were there because they didn't do anything. It was so unnecessary. It was like a waste.
Yeah. Now, if those snakes had a gun, I would have been worried.
Now we have
just in a cage, chilling.
Now we got some action. We got some action.
Because I've been like, all right, snake, I see you. You see me. Okay, we cool.
I don't mean nothing by it.
Release those snakes. 10 people would have let go.
Hey, snake, I don't mean nothing by it. Put that gun away. Put that gun away, snake.
Right?
I don't mean nothing. I didn't mean nothing. So what if it's like a snake and there's a gun in there and it's a snake? The snakes are just in the pit.
With a gun?
With a gun.
If the snake grew some fingers and could pick it up, then I'd be
That's what
worried.
I'm saying. What if the pistol's in there and they're just slithering all around it? Would you be not nervous that one of them might slide in there and I
mean, it depends. Is the barrel pointed at me?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. As they move around the thing, it moves.
Is the safety off? There would be.
You don't know any of those answers, though.
Concerned. I'd be like, if the gun's pointing away from me, I'd be like, oh, that's a shame for y'all over there. But
right. But I'm trying to win this HOH.
I'm trying to win this money. But I just didn't understand the snakes. I was like, dang, they're gonna bring the snakes. When are they gonna release it? Maybe when the next person gets out. And then I was like, oh yeah, they did have snakes. It was useless. It was a waste of those snakes' time. That's what makes me upset. They wasted those snakes' time. They could have been in their terrariums, living their life. Instead, they were placed in the middle of that room for no reason.
Especially because they have when the feeds go down and they have the adopt a pet rather than having snakes. Why don't they bring in those dogs and cats?
Yeah.
So they bring in those adoptable dogs and cats just into the room, have them roam around.
You have them roam around because you feel something bump up against you in the dark. You're gonna let go of that button, regardless. Right. Even if you know it's a puppy, even if you know it's a kitten.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. Is that a reason? Is that a good thing though? If something actually slithered on you or touched you, and it made you release it.
I told you, the flies. The flies, I would have been out.
Fortitude. I know this snake is there. I know that's what's on me. Am I trying to win this competition or not? That is something that is a lot more, I don't know, taxing than just standing around holding a button.
Ed says here in the chat that he'd throw it. He don't need to win that badly.
Well, Ed also asked, did you relieve yourself to win a comp like this? It depends on how deep I'm in.
You did the wrong, yeah.
Well, hold on now. Before we could talk about that, because when I was watching on the feeds, Matt does relieve himself, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. Intentionally. So the next the next one to drop is Izzy at about 4 hours. They were letting them in 3 at a time, right? 3 into the house, 3 at a time. So Jared. So when Sari came out, she got a 6-pack. She gave most of the beers to Jared because she doesn't really drink beer like that.
Mm-hmm.
So and then They keep hanging out in there, and then Izzy drops. Mm-hmm. Just a little hanging out, move the finger, lack of concentration.
Now, do you think it was a lack of concentration, or do you think she just wanted to go hang out with the family?
Nah. It was a lack of concentration.
Win for the family.
She was trying to win it for the family. Little spoiler, not spoiler. When she goes inside, she's beating herself up about it. She's very upset because she wanted to prove herself for the family, and she couldn't do it. And then like the three of them had to like lift her up because she was like she wanted to show that she's contributing at the Fields. She wanted to show that I am one of the Fields people.
Yes.
I'm
one of the family.
I'm Izzy Fields. I'm one of the family.
One of the family.
Miss Felicia already took care of her job last week.
I'm also not surprised that Izzy failed. I mean, that just proves to me that she is related to Jared because not surprised at all. I was like, yep, that tracks. That makes sense.
But for real though, like this wasn't the competition for Cirie, for Izzy, I mean, Felicia couldn't play, but it's not for any of them.
Mm-hmm.
How? This is the best one.
I feel like Izzy and Jared.
No, last week was the best one.
The one with the snot?
No. Yeah. It's the one with the random hitting the ball. But this one, this is the kind of comp that anybody could win, though.
Yeah. This is the one where Izzy and Jared should have showed up, and they did it.
Because this one's all about willpower, just sheer force of will.
I feel like if they didn't get rid of Heisem, he would have won this.
Oh yeah. Which is why they did a good job of getting rid of him. I want to point out, and I should have said before they started competition, this is the first time we see them give Matt an accommodation. He actually had a little screen that had the rules of the competition going that he could actually look at before they started. Like this is the first time they've done anything like that for him.
That's a plus. And well, they did it also, and from my understanding, the Scary Verse, the outdoor one, he got a script. They did give him a script of what was being said.
Nice.
But I like Ed says here, comps like this level the playing field big time, because this is a shift. Like you got to stand there. You can't sit down, but you could crouch. You could lean. You could stretch a little bit. You just got to keep your finger on the button. You just got to keep your finger on the button. That's all you got to do. And lack of concentration. This was very much a concentration one. At one point, Blue looks like she's about to fall asleep, and they're afraid she's gonna move her button, and she like wakes herself up, gets herself woken up. I was looking at that, and I was like, I could have slept and probably held the button still. Because I can stay asleep standing up. Yeah, exactly.
You gotta spread your legs for that one, so like you get that good tripod going.
Yeah, you get that correct. You put your hand down on it, and you get that little base. Because I can sleep standing up, so this is. I could have definitely. I was like, I could
sleep standing up before.
Yeah, I was like, okay, cool. All you gotta do is set yourself up. Blue, what you gotta do is put your hand there, put the other hand on top, then lean. If you lean, that's at a nice little angle. About like a 15-degree angle. You good. That puts you in the right position to get that sleep in. She didn't know about that though. She didn't know about that.
Nope.
Next up though, we have the next person to go out, which is Bowie. She was squatting down and then removed her finger from the button. She won a pressure cooker, like an actual pressure cooker. I thought that was really campy. So before Bowie goes out, what happens inside the house? What we didn't see on the show, it is Statler and Wardorf in there with Cirie and Miss Felicia. They're just going in on everybody outside. I was watching this on the feed. They're just talking shit. They're talking about when Izzy goes out, his concert is her card, and it starts just every once in a while, rock music just plays, and the lights flash and everything like that. And Felicia's inside. She's like, Bowie ain't no damn DJ. DJ's got rhythm, and that girl ain't got no rhythm. She lied about her job, y'all. I'm telling you. She lied about her job. And then like Izzy's like, I was noticing that she ain't got no rhythm. Like exactly, she ain't got no rhythm. She definitely not no DJ. She definitely not no DJ. So they talking about that. They're just going in on her on that. Cerie's talking about, man, I just hate him. And then like, who? And then she's like, she points at Cameron. And then Izzy starts going in about how much she hates Cameron and how much she hates Red. And they're like, we just can't have them win this competition because we need them gone. And so they go on about that.
Meanwhile, they're out there trying to, win for Legend 25.
They're winning for whatever alliance the three of them are in together, but they're just going in about who the people they don't like. It was hilarious, and it was one of the chief things. It's one of the reasons why I was able to stay up so late watching it, because just listening to them talk all the shit.
Wow.
Which is so funny because they didn't need to. But I think they would, if Felicia didn't have Cirie in the house to help talk shit with her.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the same. Because they get to just roast people together.
They walked in and they were like, did we just become best friends? Yep. And then they started shit.
That's exactly how that went. And so, like, there was some other stuff going on there. I'm talking in the spoiler section that has to do with game, but just watching them just say that kind of stuff. I'm looking here. I thought I wrote some of the quotes down. Miss Felicia was just like laid up there, just watching. They made some tacos at quesadillas.
When I was watching it, I was like, dang, she looked comfortable. And I was like, I need to get more comfortable while I'm watching on that level.
It was really fun. And like I was going on a trip, so I had to like pack. So it was great just watching this as they're like, she's sitting there eating popcorn. She laying at one point eating popcorn, watching them on the TV. They're talking about she said this is the most boring competition. There ain't nobody watching this. And it's like I'm over here watching. What I was doing was I was watching podcasters watch it. So I had that on one screen and I had the feeds up and like listen to them commentate. So it was just funny with Felicia saying, ain't nobody staying up watching this. This has to be the boringest shit. And it's like, no, this is the night people are staying up watching this.
Anytime you can watch the competitions live, people tune in.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And if you're telling me that this thing might go for hours,
yeah,
I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Bean said Mean Girls. And no, it's weird because I think it's because they're older women.
They do.
And they're like not doing it mean-spiritedly. Is it mean-spirit? I'm not really sure.
Has Felicia hit that age where you just say whatever's on your mind?
She's 65 years old.
Anybody else thinks?
She's 63.
Yes.
So
she's 63 years old. So yes. That is
she's like, I have no filter and I don't need to have a filter anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know how old people will roast anyone on site? That's where she's at.
It's true. It's true. That's the level that she's at, which makes her like I said, not a mean girl.
Nah.
Like they talk about Bowie smiling all the time too. They're like, why she always be smiling? Smiley about to be out. And then Felicia at one point says, when she come in here, I'm gonna tell her your boys did well. And they're like, who is her boys? And Felicia's like, I know she was Red and Cameron. I'm gonna let her know. Look at your boys, they did well. And then they're like, then Izzy's like, how about you don't say that before we know who won HoH? She's like, fine, I'll wait. It makes it's just funny. Ed says he's hit that age too. And if you are in that age range, just let him fly. Just say what you want. People just gonna be like, oh man, Kukio Ed. Kukio Ed.
Yep. He's old. He's lived a long life.
Things, just let it slide.
I mean, even if you hear it, like Cirie like joins in with Felicia, but she just like mainly laughs and like comments with her. But like Izzy can't jump in there, you know.
She's not old enough.
She just sits.
She's not old enough.
Yeah. Because the thing, if Izzy were to say something, they'd be like, "Oh, shut up! What are you doing?" They're like, "What are you talking about? Don't be doing that."
No, if Izzy said something, they start roasting her too.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was speaking of that, like weeks ago, Sari was talking and she was trying to get someone to talk, and then Izzy kept interrupting her, and she's like, "Hush up, Izzy." And Izzy stopped talking because Sari was trying to get this story from the other person. I forgot who it was, but Izzy kept trying to interject along with the person. Hush up, Izzy. I'm trying to listen to the person. And I was like, with younger people, you can't, like, if they said that to each other, like, stop talking. It would be like real rude. But Cerise said that to Izzy, shut up and let the other person finish talking. She didn't feel no type of way about it. She didn't complain about it.
Well, Izzy said, "Oh, mom told me to shut up, so I shut up."
Basically,
that's how it works.
I mean, that's how that works. It's super funny because that's the way it goes, just with the older people. Next we have Matt. Matt goes out, he takes his hand off, he throws the comp in the dark, which is smart. That's the time to do it, is when it goes dark. Because it goes dark, everybody's got to reorient their eyes to the darkness. Before this though, earlier in the evening, Matt needed to pee. So the feeds went to like, "We'll be right back." And they were, before that though, they were discussing the logistics of how he was going to pee. I don't know if anything whipped out or what, but like he peed in the corner. He peed himself a little bit, and it was like towards everybody. He like turned, I'm assuming, because it's on the floor. And then later on, Jag's in his chicken suit. Jag needs to pee, and so does Red. So they also peed. Nobody pooped.
So as a dude, you could just
fair. That's not
pee
fair.
on the snakes.
Well, pee in that direction. But like the gross thing is that the room smells like piss.
The room also smelled like sewage at one point. So
yes, they did pump in
it is what it is.
True. When Matt goes out, they release the flies.
Oh.
That's when I go out.
That one, I might start gagging.
From what I understood, the flies didn't really move too much at first because it was kind of apparently the room was extremely cold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But once Jag and Red peed,
yeah,
the flies got activated.
They're like, "Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is extremely gross if you think about it.
Yeah.
Because
like, as a woman, yes, I know it's dark and the lights off, but as a dude, you turn and you can pee away from you. As a woman, I'm like peeing where I'm standing. Like, that's not fair. That's not equitable.
Well, especially because it's not like you can pop a squat right there. You're wearing,
it's already dark.
But if you're wearing leggings or like you're wearing pants of any kind, like shorts, you might be able to make it work. But like, are you taking off all your pants in the dark and then popping a squat?
If I'm already going to be peeing on myself, I might as well. I might as well be like, "You know what? I am committed to this. I'm going to do." And at that point, I probably try to turn my butt somewhere else and be like, "All right, you got to make this work. No one can see me." I mean, if I'm not dedicated to that competition, I think Ed asked us earlier, will we relieve ourselves? And like I was saying earlier, I don't know anything that I want enough to like stand for 14 hours for. So that might be but the problem with that is when you get out, you don't get to leave yet. You have to wait until like 2 other people get out. So
yeah.
No.
I think if I have to pee and I'm going to throw, I'm not peeing myself just to pee myself.
Right.
Yeah.
But if I'm throwing,
why pee myself? I can just wait.
If I'm also throwing though, I don't want to be the first to throw. Mm-hmm. Right. And not the first in the general. I don't want to be the first of a 3. I'm gonna wait till 2 people go. I know I gotta pee. So the moment I saw the other 2 throw it, not the moment, but like 15, 20 minutes later, I know I gotta pee. I'm slipping, I'm squatting, and like, oh man, like like.
But what if somebody goes out before you? While you're trying to build that buffer, somebody else might drop.
Oh, then I'm probably gonna just piss on the floor and then still get out. So that way I leave.
Just give me a cup. Give me a cup.
Here's the thing: I can't leave because I have to pee. If Matt just peed over there.
So here's the thing: as a dude, Jared, give me a bottle.
Who has a bottle? Who has
a bottle, CJ?
Jared, beer.
Oh yeah, he got. Oh, it was Cerise.
Jared's already gone though. Jared's already gone. That's the 4-hour mark.
Cerise, yeah. A bottle of beer in here. I'm guzzling.
How you gonna get to it though?
No, I'm saying bring me the bottle.
Already out.
Oh, so they're already gone though. So by the time I gotta pee, because Bowie goes out
pee early.
8.
You gotta plan ahead.
No, before you. Hey, leave me a bottle.
Because Bowie went out at about the 8-hour mark.
Right.
8.5 hours is about where Bowie goes, which is amazing, by the way. Phenomenal that they stayed in there collectively longer than the last comp, but they don't go, as you said, they don't go all the way. They're about 5 minutes short.
Right.
So if Bowie's if Izzy's gone at the 4-hour mark, it's been 4 hours since they left me a bottle. I ain't thought about that. I didn't think about that then, about leaving me a bottle. I'd have to pee then. I got to pee now. 2.5 hours later.
Serious about this competition, you see that bottle and go, that's a container that holds liquid. Siri, throw me a beer.
Yeah.
Nah, I also don't want you to throw me a beer because I know that I want to catch the beer. So if I fumble with the one hand, my second hand's coming over and then the button's there. Because catching will be the most important thing.
Oh, yeah. So, or walk me over a bottle of beer. You don't drink beer anyway. Leave me one.
At the 10-hour mark, Matt falls out. Then we have Red, who squats a little bit. He falls asleep while he's squatting, and he misses his hand on the button. And
he fell to a knee. So he was double out.
Yes.
So Red gets a year subscription to Paramount Plus, baby. He gets to go back and watch these seasons of the show he ain't never watched. He's
like, thanks. But he gets
basically
he gets Showtime.
It has Plus Showtime, which is fantastic. Paramount Plus, I have it. Plus Showtime, so I watch the feeds. Go ahead and check that out. It's fantastic. I think Chantae uses mine. This is
of course I paid for my own.
Chantae, you get in that pressure cooker, you might get one for free.
Right. Like, what time did he go out? I just have to last as long as Red, huh?
The three of them get to go into the house. Before they go into the house, the last thing before they go in the house, Sari, Izzy, and Felicia. We hope Bowie's not the next one out because we don't want her loud ass in here with just us. So Bowie's in that next group to come in, but at this point we're what, 10 hours in, 11 hours in, so we're really rocking and rolling. They're like laying around on the couch. We just see them tired and stuff. At the 11:10 mark, Corey lets go of his button while everybody's standing up. He kind of threw as well. If you notice, it's dark. His hand comes off. Oh, oops! What? Because he didn't want to win. He intelligently was like, "I'm not trying to win this competition.
I'm not trying to win this one. This is like last week. We all had a target. This week, no."
But if you want to throw, why wait 11 hours? Like, why not go out at 6?
To prove that.
Yeah. Because you want to show that you're in it. And also, you're the super fan, right? 14 hours is the mark. If I'm a super fan, I'm trying to go to 14 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like, even if I'm throwing, if everyone's hanging in there, I'm not trying to be the last one left. But as the numbers are like dwindling, but I want to go as far close to 14 hours as we can get.
Right.
Because I would love for us to have the longest this season, to have the longest competition. Because I mean, they finished officially as the second longest competition in BBUS history, and that's something that I'm striving to get. After Corey's out, he gets the have not card, and he gets to choose two other people to be have nots with them, and they throw it back. They must have realized somebody didn't have a peanut allergy or something. They are having PB and J sandwiches. So Chantae, back in the day, the slop people on the people on their have nots, they had to eat PB and J.
Yep.
That's all they could eat.
Which is not bad.
Correct. And then somebody had like a peanut allergy. So that's when they changed it to slop, which is like protein powder and like other whey powders and proteins and oatmeal.
I thought they switched it to slop during the first All-Star season.
What's up? One at a time.
I'll say I thought they switched it to slop during the first All-Star season.
I don't know officially, but while we're chatting about it, I can look it up.
Yeah, I thought they didn't make it slop. They made it a PB&J, which he's like, at least it's not slop.
For this week it is, but back in the day it was PB&Js only, and then they switched it to slop. Slop isn't nice, but the nice thing about slop is there are things you can add to it for flavor. Mm-hmm. You don't have to just have it.
Slop did make his debut in the All-Star season.
Well, I can have a PB&J and bananas, and I can
no bananas.
PB&J for a week is not bad.
So would you rather, Kevin, since you've been around for a while, would you rather have PB&Js for a week or wear the unitard for a week?
Give me PB&Js for a week, man. I'm not trying to wear no unitard. Try to get evicted wearing this unitard. Come on, man. Give me PB&Js all day. And I like peanut butter and jelly. Give me that peanut butter and jelly. I'm having 2 sandwiches out of each meal. Come on.
Yeah, I'm doing PB&Js over unitard 7 days a week.
You can do PB&J grilled cheese style, roast it on the stovetop, make it nice and crunchy and buttery. And now I want a PB&J.
So we have Corey go out. He gets the have not card. The next person to go out is Blue. She won $1,000. She won $1,000.
$1,000.
That's
you
dope.
Mean first date with Jared money?
Listen,
I'm not spending $1,000 on Jared.
She's not spending $1,000 on Jared.
No. $20.
The next person out is Jag. He has some kind of perfume get sprayed around the room for the final 3. We get down to Mimi, America, and Corey. And it's interesting because at the time, I remember in the house, Corey's talking about, I think we've been here for 8 hours, 9 hours. They're talking about the amount of time they've been in the room, not knowing that they're pushing 14.
Yeah. How long? They've lost all sense of time.
Correct, because the room is just dark and then light and then dark and then light, just coming back on, oscillating.
And also, they're inside; they're not outside like the last one where the sun came up.
Right. Mimi has been running with this position where she's just been like a stone statue. She ain't moved, and that was interesting. Cameron's leaning and moving his body. He dancing to the music when it came through. Had his hair go. At one point, Matt went and flicked Cameron's picture on the screen. He was very upset with him as he rocking out. And then America's been doing a stand thing, move thing, stand thing, move thing. While they're there, Mimi was trying to swat away a fly, and her hand comes off the button. They thought Mimi we didn't want to pull it away, but she doesn't. She went to a dinner party where she's going to be able to pick 3 other house guests to go on a dinner party with her that I'm sure we're going to see in the episode coming up.
But here's my question. If she picks one of the have-nots, do they have to come and sit there and eat PB&J?
No, they get to eat.
Okay.
They get to eat. They eat that meal, and that's only that meal. So now we get down to America and Cameron. Showdown. They, in fact, have them repositioned. They move them so that they're now face off against each other. While they're faced off against each other, Mimi goes to the bathroom.
Mhm.
While Mimi's in the bathroom, a deal is struck up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Earlier, Cameron tried to strike a deal when everybody was still in the room, and America quickly shut it down and said, "I'm not interested in talking about any deals until 10 hours in." At this point, Cameron says, "Listen, I'll keep you safe. I want pictures of my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see my kid. I'll keep you safe." And then she's like, "Does this extend to Corey?"
She bargains for Corey. Yeah.
I'll make sure Corey's safe too. And he's like, "Yeah, for sure," because they're not his targets anyway. You know what I'm saying? He got big fish to fry.
Right.
Well, they're not, but it's funny that she says, protect Corey too, because she just told Cameron who her number one was.
Right.
But you act like they didn't see them walk around the house.
It's pretty clear.
But it confirms it.
Yeah. But she didn't mention, well, I guess you don't want to give away your whole alliance, but she was just like, just me and Corey, that's it.
Yeah. And he
Forget
went back
everybody
door.
Don't care
Now,
about no.
she says, "Don't caser me."
Yep.
Because, as B Bean says, Kaser took a deal with Jennifer when he was the final two. And then Jennifer put Kaser up anyway and sent him out the door. Because at the time, Jennifer really did not plan on putting Kaser up. And then the way it went, her alliance was like, we got to put Kaser up. Because Kaser had just won a fan vote to come back in the game. Right before that competition. And they sent him right back out the door. So she's like, "Don't caser me. I'm making this deal. Don't caser me." Then Mimi comes back inside. And then that's when America slips, finger comes off the button. Cameron is our new HoH.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Hey, remember that big energy I had at the top of the show?
Yep.
This is why. Now, with the Cameron HoH, one thing that was happening inside that was not shown in the episode, Jared, when he's out early, he is convinced that Corey and America are working with Red and Cameron, and that he will be going up and sitting next to Blue.
Jagger Blue.
And yeah, he's convinced he'll be doing that, but he's convinced that he's the target.
Why is he convinced of that when Corey is his boy?
Because
he thinks Corey and America turned. He's arrogant. He thinks that they've turned on him. He's seen them hanging out with Red and Bowie. They're convinced that there's another alliance going on. Inside the house is pandemonium when just the four of them are out. They're concerned. At one point, they count the votes. They're like, even if you go up, we have the numbers. We're going to be fine. Jared's just convinced that it's him. Another thing that's a spoiler, but like not a spoiler, while Jared's in there, Jared tells them that Heisem had told Jared while he was campaigning that not to trust Sari and Felicia because of how they had done him. Sari then says, "Why are you just telling us this now?" And he's like, "Because I told y'all like we couldn't trust him." She's like, "No, if you have information, you need to bring it to us. Mm-hmm. You can't just be telling us this now." And then
after we've already voted
well, not even after we voted him out. Remember, they were discussing trying to keep him.
Right. And he
didn't say. He just said we can't. I don't trust it. We shouldn't do that. But he didn't tell him that he was talking about voting him out.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "You have to give this information if you see it." And it's just the funniest thing because Sari is pissed and she like goes in on him, and Jared has this pose. She's like telling him, "You got to tell me what's going on. If you know that was happening, you should have said something sooner." He's like, all right, okay.
Like a little kid in trouble.
Yeah, and he's like just looking down, and then she's done. Then he gets up and he goes and goes and changes. Then he goes to the diary room and he goes lay down in his bed. And behind him, as Sari's going in, Izzy's looking at the TV. but she's like this.
Yeah,
and she's like, Jared, you got to do it, and because Felicia's not in the room, so like it's the three Fields people there,
Yeah, it's only the family.
It's the family, and she's going in, and then Blue, and she's like, and Izzy's just shaking her head. Then when he gets up, Cerie's like, "Am I right? Like you got to tell him." She's like, "No, he's got to tell us. He's got to tell us."
You're right, Mom. You're right, Mom.
Yeah. And then she goes in there a little bit later, and she says, "Look, we're just trying to keep you safe. I know that you might go on the block, but we're gonna be fine. We have the numbers. Like, you got to come to me with the information, though." And he's like, "Okay." Yeah, like the thing over his eyes, because it's like, "All right, Mom." She's like, "I love you." He's like, "I love you too." And then she gives him a hug and gives him a kiss, and then she goes back into the living room. And it was just so funny because, like, I mean, I've been there. My mom has yelled at me like that, and I'm just been like, "Fine, Mom."
Energy right there. If anyone else was there, they'd be like, "Oh!"
It was. She scolded him. She scolded him, and everybody knew.
I'm surprised Izzy didn't do the sibling thing where you just slowly walk out the room so you don't catch any heat.
Like I know.
Well, she knew she wasn't in trouble this time.
Yeah.
She knew that Cerie was mad at him, not at her, so she knew that she was safe. And she was doing like the good kid thing, that where you stand there and you were like, "Ooh, you're in trouble." And he's like, "Shut up, Izzy." Mom's gonna tell, like, she's gonna be mad at you. Yeah, that's kind of how that was. And it was just so funny. It was just so funny. And if you can go back and watch that clip, it was hilarious watching on feeds. So everybody's out. Cameron's won. Cameron now has a cowboy hat, and he's walking around, and he's ready to go. On the feeds, Cameron sitting there, cowboy hat on. Cameron like zooms in a little bit. He's like, "You may have noticed I got a new feather in my cap." Now they obviously couldn't show this on the show because they couldn't like really give away what was going on, because he says, "You guys might notice I got a new feather in my cap. You're gonna see him on the block come tomorrow." And it's one of Jag's chicken feathers.
Wow.
It's one of his chicken feathers in his cap. And then he said, "It's time to tie up some loose ends because we got to take out Blue and Jag." Now, there was a ton of concern because they're targeting Cameron and Red, right? But the concern, the shocker is that Cameron and Red are here for Legend 25. This fake alliance.
They're trying to take care of their alliance.
Correct. Which is going to keep Cerie and Izzy safe.
Yeah. He wasn't even considering Izzy because she's part of his alliance until Red was like, she was not happy you won. And then he was like,
Which
what?
I loved how they showed in the episode. 4 minutes after the HoH, Izzy was done.
Yeah.
Well, Izzy was like, good job by your boy. Good job by your boy over there. And it's like, what? I mean, our boy, right? We won.
You're trying to,
Yeah. Legend 25.
25. They're like, yeah, Legend 20. So wait, what are we? What's the
she's like, yeah, whatever.
No.
It's just interesting. And so watching Cameron, the rest of the episode is Cameron basically setting up the noms, and he decides to go with Jag and Blue, and they're his legitimate targets. And like, we hear about Izzy being a backup option. Who knows what's going to happen here? But in reality, Jag and Blue is who he really wants because he's here for Legend 25. After them, he wants to target Jared, which is why it's a bit of a problem for everybody else because that's not what they're looking at. But he's like, Jared's an option. He's still convinced that we got to take out America and we got to take out whichever one lasts of Blue and Chag.
Yep.
And they're still higher than Jared on the list because he's going according to plan.
Right.
That's where the plan is. It's an interesting HoH because I thought I didn't think so, but it looked as if Cirie was going to be in trouble, but like Cirie's people were going to be in trouble.
Right.
Yeah.
But not the case.
Well, similar to Survivor and Traders, people just inherently trust Cirie.
Right. So
I don't know what she has, but people trust her.
I think she just connects.
Yeah.
She just connects with them, and she seems so real.
Yeah, for real, for real.
But she has. I think part of it is that Cirie has a, if you will, a mom demeanor. Like she has a mom body type. She's not like ripped or nothing. She's like a regular mom. She has a mom demeanor. She laughs. She smiles. She looks like that she's serious. She's serious
and stuff like.
Like
others, everybody, not just Jared.
Yes. So that makes it like easier.
B Bean says Cirie has the mist.
Yes, B Bean, and then Ed says even I trust Cirie. I already told y'all I would give up my game if in this house for Cirie. Like it's just there's something about her and watching her work. Even though each week she flip flops what she wants to do. As I said last week, it's like watching like the Marvel situation. They come back to what you're looking for. She takes a bunch of detours along the way, but she comes back to what you're looking. What the best decision is, pretty much for her at the time, and she's never in danger, from what it seems.
Never.
I think it's just too early in the game. Somebody's going to look to cut her, but it's not anytime soon.
Do you think so? Because that's what Sheldon and
everyone thinks they're working with her. That's the thing. Everyone thinks they're working with her. So I don't know who's gonna go after. And then everyone knows that she's got Felicia and Izzy. So it's like 3 votes in 1 already.
But at what point do Izzy, Cirie, and Felicia and maybe 1 or 2 other people outnumber you? Like we're getting to a point where a voting block is the most dangerous thing in the game, and you got to cut those numbers down. Do you go after Cirie or do you go after Felicia and Izzy? Who knows?
I think they're going for one of her lieutenants.
They're gonna
I think you got to cut off the head of the snake.
That's what you should do, but is that what they're going to do?
And this is what I talked about with Kylie and Sheldon on Thursday. One of the biggest things that I feel like all of us are missing is that Cirie isn't a snake.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So yes, you would cut off the head of the snake, but if Cirie, they don't see Cirie as the snake.
No.
I was gonna get into it in spoilers, but I'm gonna talk about it right now. Red's talking to Cameron, and Red told Cameron that Cirie is his second most trusted person in the house. Red said to Cirie that he trusts Cirie the second most to Cameron. Then Cameron said, I don't really know. I don't get to talk to Cirie that much. I trust her because you say you trust her. I'll make sure this is clear. Red then goes to Cirie and tells her what Cameron said and says, you need to talk to Cameron a little bit more because I need Cameron to trust you a little bit more. The reason I say that is because I think Cirie's really his number 1 and Cameron's his number 2.
Yeah.
While she's plotting,
get rid of them. We gotta get rid of them.
She's plotting his demise.
I love Cirie, but if I'm playing this game, I'm getting close to Cirie so that I can cut her when the time is right.
Corey wants to cut her allies so he could be next to her.
Nah, I don't want to be next to her. I want to cut her. Because I know I can't beat her in final. Like if I got to argue my case against Cirie, I'm not winning.
She never makes it to the end. That's the feeling.
I know. And I got to make sure she doesn't make it to the end because she will beat me.
You think you're going to be able to hide the fact that you're going to backstab her?
Yeah. Because it's just, oops, I backdoored you at the end.
Cerise
And you
seems to
just
know
don't
when
tell
everyone's
anybody.
lying to her. Anytime someone's lying to her, she knows
You just got to be good at it.
it. Are you good enough, CJ, at betraying Cerise?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I think I could betray Cerise.
I think the one the only one that can get her is Izzy.
You think Izzy? I think the only one that can actually get her is Jared, but he never would.
He never would. And
But-
the only one that can get her is Cerise. I mean, it's Izzy. And the only reason Izzy can get her is because she'll never see it coming.
Yeah.
That's the only reason that she can get her.
Yeah.
So that's the episode. Jag and Blue are on the block. I got spoilers for you guys. It's been a pretty eventful week. So if you're getting out of here now, thank you for joining us. Join us again on, I believe, Thursday this week as we go over the eviction episode and we talk about the veto ceremony. I'm going to give you guys a couple seconds to get up out of here. Follow me. You can find Chantae at the Villain Chantae on Instagram. Find her there. She's out there posting pics and stuff. You can find CJ at Keyboard Sarcasm on the X/Twitter. And then you can find me at KG Fury tweeting about the show and stuff like that. Getting into the spoilers, guys. We'll be starting in a second. Thank you for joining us. Hang tight. We'll be getting into spoilers right about now. Oh, also make sure you subscribe before you get up out of here.
Subscribe.
All right.
Yep.
Oh, you're welcome.
Right.
We
We
need
still
some
don't have. Yeah.
shit.
Look at this. Now let's get into the spoilers. I am just gonna say off the top rope. Jared told Blue his mom is in the game.
He did? Because he expects her to get kicked out?
No.
Because
he's stupid.
So
So now who's gonna tell
no,
everyone?
you know the little area where Corey and America hang out inside the house in like the little corner in that like room in that little loft area.
Mhm.
They're up there the other night and they're chit chatting, and before they have a blanket, and before the blanket comes up, they put the blanket up. They get a little hot and heavy, and fluids were exchanged for the first time.
God.
He then tried to use some Clorox wipes a little bit later to come clean up the area. But before they got into it, he's like, I want to tell you my secret. And then he says, my mom is in the game.
And she said, what?
She said, okay. And he's like, yeah. And then she's like, but she said she only has one son. And she's like, nah, she has three. And she's like, so then maybe Cameron's telling the truth. Because your last name is Washington. And then he goes, what? Oh, yeah. Yeah. And she's like, it's cool though. It's cool. I'm not going to, I swear, they pinky promise, I'm not going to tell anybody. He says, nobody knows. She says, okay. So, and he's like, you still don't really know the secret, but nobody knows. And she's like, okay, yes.
He's so
I know.
stupid.
So Blue thinks Miss Felicia is Jared's mom.
Which makes.
And because she's like, but you said you have like 11 brothers and sisters. And then he's like, my mom has 3, and the rest are on my dad's side.
Wow.
Ridiculous.
It's like they don't want to. It's like they don't want to know.
So Blue kind of knows. This was on Saturday night. It is now Monday in the Big Brother house, and she has brought this up to nobody. She has not said it to anybody.
Does that mean that Jared is her number one?
Yes. they've talked about dating outside the show. They're both cheating on their partners with each other in the house. Apparently, Jared's relationship, his situationship, was for 7 years. And
my current situationship is 6 years, so I get it.
And so
we're kind of married.
Call it a situation when you put a ring on it. I mean,
yeah, but his situationship has been for 7 years. He threw that all away for Blue in the house. That's who he's like seeing or whatever. Like that. So he has now told her about, and she is convinced that it's Miss Felicia, and then they got busy. Maybe they had sex. Maybe it was just a hand job. No one knows. They definitely there was some blankets.
Please.
They're sitting there, blankets cut away, cut back.
It's terrible because that was Corey in America's space, and
it was.
Maybe the fair will help Corey out, and they'll get to it. Like America, like hard body is into Corey, like for serious.
That's something you didn't touch on during the episode, but she like is actually interested in this boy.
Mm-hmm. That's another thing. America and Corey, they are showmancing. They haven't kissed. They've cuddled. They last night was Mimi's dinner. She picks America, Suri, and Miss Felicia to go with her to dinner. There was some wine. America comes back. She's a little tipsy. The whole house is trying to encourage this to happen for Corey. Corey's extremely awkward. He made it very clear to America and the rest of the house that nothing can happen in the house.
Is he?
If we make it a jury, They're
trying to make this happen. Is he a virgin? Is that what's going on?
I don't know, but I think it's more so because it's on national TV. Unlike Jared, he's very much aware that he's on television.
Yeah.
And so they cuddle, and America is really into him. America's really cute. Corey's funny as fuck because he says he was talking to Izzy earlier today, and then she was like, hey man, so like that's good for you in America, and she's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I don't want nothing to happen on TV. Though I made it very clear about my line, and she's like, that's really good. She's like, plus people are gonna probably be real surprised that she pulled Corey. You know what I'm saying? He said that, and then he started laughing. People can be real surprised that she was able to pull Corey. So he's real funny about this thing, man. This relationship is something, and it's funny because, like, as you guys know, our resident friend Donnie, who is like the ultimate casual, he was like, he watched the episode last night, and he texted me and said, Corey and America, give me a break. She can't really be into him. And I said, look, man, she likes nerds. She's a nerd. She went to Brown. She's a little nerd herself. Corey's real smart about the things that she likes, which is this game. He's super nice to her. He's very respectful.
Very respectful.
He's funny. Like, I'm like, Donnie, how could I can see this?
He's also like realistic, like about himself. He is self-aware. He's not
extremely self-aware.
So, and that is rare to find in any dudes, let alone a 21-year-old.
You're right. And but Donnie's like, I still don't believe it. I'm like, you're not watching.
You just told him, I don't believe it with you and your wife.
Yeah. You know all about punching above your weight. Like,
hot and kettle. No,
Johnny, just kidding.
So we get they're a thing. They're happening. The veto is played, and Red wins the veto. So Cameron and Red have all the power. Yep. Izzy is a backdoor option if one is needed. Mm-hmm. But she's not the planned backdoor option. America's safe because of the agreement.
Yep.
Another funny thing that happened. I just want to touch on this before I forget. America says it was so weird that Cameron called Riley his daughter, but it also seemed like he had a crush on her. And then Corey says, "Yeah, that's why I think you're like a father figure to me." That's hilarious. That's hilarious because of the conversation. We said that to America anyway. But
I feel
Cameron,
like you might have a crush on Corey too.
Corey's great. I said that from the. I was the only one stumping for Corey.
Was he in your
Yeah, I
draft?
drafted him. Yeah, drafted him first. He's the only one. I was the only one stumping for Corey, and it's because I could tell based on his like small video that this dude was going to be funny and know what he was doing, and he is. And all those things are hitting hard. He's got both. He's hilarious and he knows what he's doing. He's able to relate if you just give him a second,
right?
And he's had a few seconds. So back to Cameron and Red. Cameron and Red are the veto winners. They have the veto. They have this. Cameron wants to keep everything safe and regular go because he's not ready to make that kind of move yet. That big move, they're safe amongst Legend 25. So he has Jag and Blue up. Going into Friday night, after the noms are done, Cirie, Felicia, and Izzy decide that it's probably best for our game if we keep Jag over Blue. Because they need someone that can win competitions, they feel. They had that in high school. Right. They got rid of him. And they said, we're going to use Jag instead. Because we need someone to go against. Yep, someone we can go against Cam and Red.
Right.
Now, Cameron is 100% in. As I said, as we were leaving the main show, before we got into the spoilers, Red trusts Cirie 100%. 100%.
That's crazy.
It's insane. And so when Cameron's like, well, we might need to take a shot at them, he's like, well, we could probably take a shot at Izzy, but I got to make sure it's okay by Cirie. Okay, sure. When Jag and Blue are on the block, Blue starts thinking maybe she can convince them to backdoor Bowie. Bowie's in the Legend 25 alliance that Blue does not know about. So she starts floating the idea of them backdooring Bowie. And then that makes them a little bit more wary of Blue because Blue's going around trying to figure out how to save herself and Jag. And she obviously wants her alliance to help her.
Yep.
The day after Cirie or Felicia has been named as Jared's mama to Blue, that same night, they had decided that they were going to save Jag and send Blue out the door if Nam stayed the same. As they were trying to count the votes, they decided that they want to make sure that Cameron, Red, America, and Corey stay in the dark on the vote flip. Which is wild to me because America and Corey would be on board with saving Jag.
Right.
But I don't know why they want to do this.
Right.
As they're discussing it, they're like, well, when can we let Jared know? Because you remember, Jared's not in that little group that's talking about this.
Right.
Yep.
And he's exchanging fluids with Blue.
He was upstairs exchanging fluids with Blue and telling her about his mom being in the house.
Well, the whole vote was a fluid situation.
It was a fluid situation. They decide to they're going to let Jared know right before the vote. Even though they're going to need his vote to do it, they're going to let him know right before the vote. And then he'll come with the alliance. Everybody leaves, and Izzy says to Cirie, are we really going to let Jared know right before the vote? And she says, hell no. I'm going to let him know today. Yep. It's like, okay. They go into a room, and Jared says, he's talking to Cirie, and Cirie says, hey, so we've decided that we got to send Blue out because they don't trust her. He's like, that's my personal. That's like my +1. Like, that's who keeps me safe in this game.
I'm no +1.
She's like, listen, we got to do what we got to do. And he's like, well, I don't like that. I don't want to do that. And she's like, look, man, that's what we got to do. And they didn't want to tell you now. They want to tell you later. So when they tell you later, be like surprised. And he's like, I don't trust them if they don't want to tell me now. Why would I do that? She's like, listen, I need you to do this. On me, on home, I need you to do this. You got to send Blue out. And he's like, I don't like it. I don't want that. That's not what I want. And she's like, it's what we have to do. We need Jag for the comps. We can't, like, Blue's not going to win no comps for us.
Right. We need Jag. She should have said, stop thinking with your dick.
Well, she don't know about all that. If the moment she finds out about that stuff,
Blue's gone.
Blue's gone. Blue's gone. She and
Yeah.
I don't even know if she like gets out the house that way. I think Sari.
You what?
Yeah. Sari would pick her up by her pants and throw her out the front door.
Well, when Jared was convinced that he was going to be the vote for no reason, I have no idea why he thought he was going to be the vote, but he was convinced. Sari came to him and said, "If we're up next to each other, I'm gonna tell them all to vote me out." And he's like, "No."
And they would not.
Is it though?
No. It's what any parent would do, but it's dumb because Jared cannot win this game the way he's playing.
And that's the hard part, right? Jared's playing terribly, but Jared thinks he's doing well because Sari is doing everything for him like any good parent does.
Yeah.
And so he thinks that he's doing great, but he just walks into rooms and everyone's like, "Oh, Jared's here. Let's do this for Jared." But it's because Sari was in there and said, "Hey, listen, this is what we got to do." So that way, when Jared walks in here, it's easy for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what's kind of happened. Even this week, Jared's barely playing, and Sari's taking care of all this for him. Right. When Jared is thinking that, Sari says, "I've played 4 times. I've had my fill. I want to make sure you continue to have your experience. If I put on the block, I'm going to tell Easy and Felicia to vote me out." And I thought that was amazing. No, so Jared's like, fine, all right, fine. I don't like this. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to vote out Blue. It looks like he might not do it. Then he goes to Blue and he says, "Hey, listen, if one of us are at the house, do you think we're gonna still like continue this? If one of us leave a little earlier than we thought?" And then that's when you're like, she's like, "What, you think I'm not gonna make the jury?" And he's like, "No, I'm just saying, like, if you go or if I go, like, what might happen, like, to us?" And she's like, "Well, if you go before I do, I think it's probably best for you to like take care of your situationship while you're gone, and then when I get out, we get. I want to see. I want to make this happen." Mm-hmm. Then Jared's like, "Okay, but like, what if you're gone before me? Like, you gonna go out there, you're gonna rekindle things with your dude. I don't think that's gonna work for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that's gonna." Chantae, your look is exactly how I was like, "Come on, dog." And she's like, "Okay." He's like, "So I don't think it's gonna work. I don't think this is gonna work outside of here if we don't both make it to jury. You know what I'm saying?" And she's like, "But we're both gonna make it to jury. Like, I'm gonna stick around. Jack's gonna go home." And he's like, "I'm just saying, like, if things didn't work out, I don't think we're gonna have to just figure out our own way and maybe try to come back to each other." You know what I'm saying? And then she's like,
"Kid,
okay, like, I mean, whatever, man, if that's what you're saying." And so it's like he's like breaking up with her, which tells
get voted out,
right? Which tells me that he heard what his mom told him.
Yeah.
And he understood why he needed to break up with her. And then like they're like talking, and he said something about round 3 tonight. And then she's like, "We'll see." I'm like, round 3, dang, man, they snuck another one in there when nobody was like watching. Funny last thing. So that's pretty much where the game is. Red won the veto. Red
Jeremy
does not use the veto.
Red does not use the veto. Jag and Blue stay on the block. As of yesterday, Jag was going to be staying. As of this morning, Felicia and Sari were talking about keeping Blue here and sending Jag home because Cameron and Red seem to be, from what she's hearing from Red, Cameron and Red think they need to target Blue in America next. So that's still good for them. So as of right now, they're thinking about sending Jag home. But then this afternoon, it had flipped back to Blue being the one to go. So it's going to be a roller coaster ride, just like every other vote has been. Heisen was going, not going, not going. It's all over the place, right? So we'll see what happens there. The last thing I want to talk about, as I said, that America and Corey, they were cuddled up in the have-not room.
Mm-hmm.
I love them as a couple because they're big fans. So they just constantly make Big Brother references,
Right.
because they're laying in this like that one of the like hammock beds in the room, and America says this beats the pool floaty, and that's where Kyle and Alyssa had sex last time on a pool floaty. So in the half not room. So he says, "Oh, that is up in here, wasn't it?" And then she's like, "Yep." And then they're like, "Man, well, we don't want to be Kyle and Alyssa. That's the last thing we want to be compared to." And she's like, "That's right." The whole house is in on the fact that they like each other and they've been drinking. Miss Felicia says, "Oh, we should put the box of condoms upstairs because, like, so that way they can know where they are." Then Izzy says, "They were right here. Where are they?" Then Mr. B camera zoomed in on Blue's face in the mirror, and then switched to Jared's face as he was sitting in the room. Then goes back to Blue because they're all in the same room in the kitchen. They're all in their bathroom about to play this joke on Corey and America. They're like, "We can't find the condoms," and Blue was just there, like in the mirror, like doing her makeup. As we know, so after they looked for them, they finally found them. They didn't know where they were. They couldn't believe where they were. They put the condoms upstairs in the have not room. When America and Corey finish cuddling, they go to leave, and they see the condoms on the floor, and they start laughing. And that was yesterday. They found the condoms, but that was just something that was funny because the camera zooming in on Blue and Jared's faces.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
So this is what's going on in the feeds, guys. What do y'all think? What's going on here? What are we doing here? What should they be doing?
So much.
This is the energy I have for a Cameron HoH red veto. Nothing happened this week.
Summer down now, CJ. You're like flying away over there.
Wow. I love the fact that they did the stuff that's according to the plan.
Yeah.
Like, that's so funny to me because I thought for sure Cameron was ready to mix things up.
Mm-hmm.
But and this is what I was like going on and on about on the other night. Cirie has them all.
Mm-hmm.
She has all of them, which is why, though it's a long road, I think Cirie makes it to the end. I think Cirie wins this game. Yeah. Because, as you two stated, they're going to, quote unquote, figure it out and come for her. Even when they're like, this is the power structure, they're like, but we need to separate Cirie from the power structure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're not going for Cirie. They're going for her supports, which is like that she just gets someone else and brings them in then.
And they want to be that someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And which is why they want to go for her support.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so interesting to me, because she, as the queen mother, the one, they just want to be soldiers for her. Mm-hmm. And this is how it seems Cirie does it. I see her talking to them. Izzy and Bowie Jane had a whole Izzy and Bowie Jane had a whole blowing out because Izzy been treating Bowie Jane badly. Bowie Jane talked to Cirie about it. Cirie then talked to Izzy. She told Izzy, "You need to stop talking shit to Bowie Jane. We're gonna get her out. I want her gone too. I'm annoyed by her too. We're gonna get her gone." And then Izzy's like, "Okay." And then she went and talked to Bowie, and then Bowie's like, "All right, it's better with Izzy." She went and said that to Cirie. Cirie is the one in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
She's out there doing mom things.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, fuck. Jared told his girlfriend that his mom's here, and she said, "Not Cirie." Like,
she didn't even like, of course not Cirie, because that she would never betray us. So it must be Miss Felicia, and that must be Felicia is related to Denzel Washington, of course. Like, that made more sense than Cirie and Jared, who look alike.
Yes.
Goodness gracious.
I didn't know that Jared's fake name was Jared Washington.
That's hilarious.
And so this is why it makes it even funnier because it then says, "Oh my God, Felicia's the one with the fake last name. It is Washington, or maybe that's her married name. Oh my gosh, Denzel is her brother."
Washington. They're related.
Yes.
Of course.
Now,
Jared's uncle.
yes. Here in the chat, Ed said, Suri is no Vanessa. And from BB18, I believe, or BB17, we have Vanessa Russo, who was an amazing strategist. And you're right, Suri is not that kind of strategist, but she kills it socially. And by killing it socially, it makes this a completely different kind of steamroll.
Yeah. She doesn't have to do much, right? She's kind of
right
in motion and everyone else is kind of doing it for her. And she just got to sit back. And then when she decides something, she just goes, you do this, you do that. And they do it. It's crazy.
Because she's talking game with everyone. So everyone feels like we're in.
Yeah.
Because we're in all these different groups, we're all in every time. And so like Red and Cameron pointed at Jag and Blue. Jag and Blue pointed at Red and Cameron. Izzy pointed at Bowie. Bowie pointed at Izzy. Corey and America are like, Cerie's dangerous. And then that's when she's like, listen, we can't trust Corey and America. Everyone look over there at those two. And then that's when Cameron and Red's like, we maybe need to take out Corey and America.
Real quick. No one was even thinking about Corey and America.
Correct. And then Jag and Blue are like, we might need to take out Corey and America. It's like, how did you get them all pointed in that direction? Because like, look over there. They're looking at me.
Yeah, it's like an 8-person standoff, and Suri just wanders away.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna let y'all handle this. I'll see you guys.
Yeah, it's like, how does she not catch a single stray? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
B Bean says here that eventually someone will realize that no one can win over Suri. And I don't think as much as they probably could figure that out, I don't think they do. I think they all think that they can sit next to her. And they're happy to sit next to her. Because they think that they'll be able to win, but they won't.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's too late because Jared would have got, because anyone that's a threat to Jared is a threat to Suri. And Suri says, Izzy, Felicia, seize that man. I would have got away with it too. You should have never came for Jared.
And Izzy knows she's number 3, and she's fine with that.
Yes.
Well, the other funny thing is,
Felicia thinks she's number 2, but like Izzy knows I'm number 3, and I'm okay with that. I am actually happy about that.
Well, also when you get to those, if they somehow make it to the final 4, those tend to be more physical comps, which kind of line up for Jared's skill set, where he can get Suri to the end.
Yes. And that's how they're gonna get there. And it's just so funny because if they get to 4, the Izzy, Suri, Felicia, Jared, it's a slam dunk for Suri to be in the final 2 chairs because all of them are taking her. Another thing that I mentioned during their paranoia, Corey lost a lot of footing during when he was not in the room during the pressure cooker, because before that, Corey had a conversation with Izzy earlier that day about when we get down to 5, himself, Jared, Izzy, Suri, America. When we get down to 5, or Felicia, when we get down to 5, me and you need to consider taking out Suri or Jared because we can't beat them. During the pressure cooker, Izzy told Suri, listen, Cameron said when he gets down to 7, he's going to be coming for you. And so Suri said, then we got to tell Corey less information, and Corey just moved up the hit list. And Izzy said, okay. And it's tough because Corey's not going to see it coming because he's going to think that it was at 5. Now she's going to cut him at 9.
Right.
Because Izzy's misinformation says 7. So then at 9, Corey goes out before because Corey's thinking he's now one step behind, if you will.
Yeah.
Because he's like, because I'm sure Corey's like, I told her 5. I see that she's not really trying to play for us. So I got to be aware to get Suri a little earlier. He's not going to be ready for 4 rounds earlier.
But it makes you wonder if he has the ability to take the shot via backdoor, would he take it early? Like if he won HoH next week, would he try to backdoor?
How?
He does. Who votes her out?
Everybody is on her alliance. She has 50 billion alliances with every single one in the house, and everyone thinks they're her number 2.
But if Corey is saying that we got to take out Suri or Jared, you put them up next to each other.
He doesn't know that Jared, Suri, and Suri are that close. It would be Suri and Izzy. It would be Suri and Felicia.
Yeah.
At this point.
They think Jared's just some dude.
Corey and Jared are just boys running around here trying to get some ass. Or Corey's trying to push the ass away. He's trying to keep he's like jury house. Like, and Corey and Blue and Jared's like, get over here, Blue. And that's so they're boys. So he would never put them up next to each other. It would be Izzy. It would be Felicia. And everyone, it's a death sentence for Corey because if you shoot for the queen, you best not miss. And he's going to miss, and everyone's coming for Corey.
Yeah.
Right now. And that's why it's wild. Because if that happens, because you're right, a lot of people, like people say it all the time, they're going to take the shot. The moment you do, there's not enough soldiers that are going to shoot at Suri right now. The people that you need to shoot at Suri are to get a Jag and Blue along with a Cameron and Red. But she's done a good job of turning them against each other instead of them working together.
And now Blue's about to go, so that's one less.
And Jag's coming for Cameron and Red for taking out his people.
Jag's like, how could you do that? So he's going to have Cerise in there like, yeah, I don't know why that's happening.
I don't know how that happened. Can you believe he did that to you? Can you believe he did that to you?
Yeah, you know what? I heard Corey over there talking too. Maybe you should take him
Corey
out.
was talking that shit too. He was getting close. He was getting close. It's just insane. It's just insane. So let's see what happens. It's been a crazy, crazy time in the house. We'll see if Blue or Jag goes home. I don't know which one's going home right now. I think it's gonna be Blue, as of this moment. But we're gonna see.
Jared's gonna slip up and tell his mom that he did something with her, and she was
then it's gotta be Blue.
It's
gotta be Blue.
How'd she go?
B Bean says Suri could have rolled the Roman Empire back in the day. Probably.
And it probably would
have. Thank y'all for joining us. It's been a pleasure. Make sure you follow us on the socials. If you are not subscribed, make sure you get subscribed. We love to see it. Coming to you from outside the Big Brother house. Good night.
Bye.